in-laws said, but they were all out.
Right.
Hi!
Yeah, I was over there with Matt and put a man covered.
You didn't put the one on.
Oh, yeah, we missed.
I now call to order the special meeting of Monday, May 16th, 2022. Time is 7 p.m. Opening prayer, Jane.
All right, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Also, Father, please be with those who have been negatively affected by the rains this past weekend. I don't believe that in this area anybody has lost their life, but certainly there's cleanup still yet to do. So please be with them, and please be with us here in this meeting. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Ben, would you please call the roll?
Member Orr?
Here.
Member Matheny?
Here.
Member Shroya?
Here.
Member Warren?
Here.
Member Wyrick?
Here.
Member McLeister?
Here.
And Member Revolt?
Here.
7 present.
Okay, at this time, members of the public wishing to address City Council may do so. Each speaker will be granted 5 minutes. As a reminder, the rules will be posted on the screen to the audience's right. As this is a special council, special council meeting, we ask that topics of the discussion are limited to those appearing on this meeting agenda.
Good evening. My name is Jim Kendrick. I live at 309 Rose Main Street Southwest here in town. And besides the house that I live in, I own and rent out a house in Canton under the current system we have had in place for a long time in regards to rentals. I also have 3 rental properties in Canton, and I'm aware of the system that they have down there. And I don't think the system in Canton and places like that is necessarily something that we want to emulate. It's more of an adversarial, antagonistic climate between the property owners and the government with the system of inspections and registrations, and I don't necessarily consider that a worthy goal. I guess my main objection to this is that how discriminatory it is. To have a problem with a rental that has peeling paint, but the owner-occupied house to the left, that one's okay. To focus on who is renting a rental property because you want to go after the income and so forth from the people that are working there, but the private owner operated house to the other side, we don't go after that one. And another element of this that I think is emphasized in the newspaper, safety and welfare issues. Well, if something's unsafe in a rental house, why is the same thing not an issue in an owner-occupied house across the street? And on that topic of the safety and welfare, I'm getting a little resentful of campaigns like this ordinance and other ones playing the safety card all the time to try to get things through here. So, like I say, I don't think we have that big of a problem with rental properties in North Canton. I think if you were to drive around Canton, that you certainly wouldn't want what you see there here, and that's, the system that they have down there with inspections and doing just exactly what you have to do to get by and so forth. Also, I believe from what I've been reading, that some of this management of this perhaps would be turned into a third party. I'm not happy with the direction that the property tax going to the RETA program was. I found them very difficult to deal with. Extremely hard to get hold of a person to talk to. Going in that direction, I don't think it was possible. So, like I say, I don't favor this legislation you're looking at, and I think there's an element of trying to mean that those people that have rentals, let's go get them or something. And we'd really like to see this turned down or make it equal and apply to everyone. As I drove down here today, I was surprised at how many lawns I saw that needed mowed and were way past, probably haven't seen a lawnmower this year. And I think we have, ordinances already that deal with stuff like that. We'll, use the tools we already have to control issues like that. So, like I say, I just urge that this be repealed and maybe reworked or rethought. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wanting to speak about the items on the agenda tonight?
Chuck Osborne, 307 Fairview Street, Southeast, North Canton, Ohio. I want to address last week's discussion and subsequent vote for the first reading of ordinance 43, 2022 regarding rental registration. This same ordinance is up for its second reading tonight's special council meeting. First, I will say I am in the same camp as council members John Orr and Dave Matheny, and that I believe rental registration should be applied equally to all rentals in the city. As we all know, laws have to be fair and equally applied to all. Secondly, I will have to take issue with the fact that opponents of rental registration were allowed to return to the podium a second time. And for what purpose? The minds of this council and the administration were not going to be changed. With regard to the young lady who was here to speak in her capacity as the Governmental Affairs Director for Stark Trumbull Area Realtors, I must say I was dismayed at the line of questioning she endured from Councilmember Darrell Revolt. Her name was Kayla Atchison, a very professional young lady who I believe was treated shamelessly. What was the purpose of bringing Mrs. Atchison back to the podium? Mr. Revolt, your fairly pointed questions, as you described them, were, from my perspective, intended to humiliate and embarrass her, plain and simple. In your continued rebuttal to her, you brought to the attention of Ms. Atchison and everyone at the meeting the existence of ordinance number 13478, passed 44 years ago, that required all rental owners within 30 days notify the city, particularly the finance director, of all the tenants that they are renting to. You then asked her how many of her association members have complied with this ordinance. I would like to flip the coin and ask why City Hall has not enforced compliance with this ordinance. Why haven't the many finance directors, city administrators, and mayors who have come and gone over the last 44 years enforced this ordinance? Mr. Revolt, in addition to the decades you have been on member of the City Council, you were also mayor for 3 years, from September 98 until July 2001. You say you want to collect data on rentals, but yet in your decades here at City Hall, apparently the passage of ordinance number 13478 has collected nothing but dust. In your shameless effort to embarrass Ms. Atchison, I believe you have brought embarrassment publicly to City Hall that has made no attempt to enforce a city ordinance passed to provide you the data you so desperately desire. I would ask that this council body send a letter to Taylor Atchison apologizing for the manner in which Mr. Revolt publicly embarrassed and humiliated her. Thank you.
Anyone else wanting to address council tonight? Okay, moving on to old business. Can I have a motion and a second to read by title only, ordinance 40-2022?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance establishing Chapter 193 Transient Occupancy Tax of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton and thereby imposing a transient occupancy tax for the benefit of the City of North Canton, Ohio.
We have discussed it. Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, I move to adopt.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I'm going to.
We have a motion and a second to read by title only, ordinance 41-2022.
So moved?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Ben, will you please read?
An ordinance accepting a record plat of the Sanctuary Phase 5 located within the corporate limits of the City of North Canton.
Mr. Matheny?
So this is the third reading, and in light of the weather that we had this weekend, Ben, will you put that picture up, please, for me? So this is the other side of the street from where Phase 5 is going in, and this was after the rain. I think the water was actually about 9 or 10 feet higher towards those houses. And I know the Planning Commission has reviewed this and approved this, but we're adding a lot more water into this same creek bed to remove the water from that area. I'm concerned. I think the residents might be a little bit concerned. I don't know that it's a bad thing that this development's going in by any means, but I think that we owe it to the residents of the sanctuary to possibly postpone this for 20 days. Make sure that Planning Commission and Mr. Van Gundy and everybody still feel comfortable with what happened this past weekend and the water that we're adding to that still suit those residents. It's just a question that I have. I don't know if anybody else would like to comment on that. If not,
I'm seeing it. Yeah.
Mr. Diorio, would you make some comments?
I've reviewed this with the engineer today and Mr. Van Gundy. We don't see any reason to withhold approval on this. And this is certainly a 100-year or a 500-year rain. And I don't really think that, from what I've been told, that adding these additional houses to this phase, when you look at the calculations that go into determine the rain that's coming into an area and for the flooding of it, covers such a large geographic area that the number of houses that are being put into this is just a pin drop compared to what's happening throughout the region for which the calculations are being made. So I don't see a reason, particularly at this phase, based on having spoken with the engineer and the superintendent, to put a hold on this.
Okay, well, that helps me because I wasn't able to get in touch with them today, and since the rain occurred this weekend, I appreciate the fact that you did reach out to them. If they're not concerned, then I'm not concerned, but I felt that we should at least discuss that as a possibility. So thank you for addressing that. Any other questions or comments?
Were there many residents who called in complaining or viewing the?
I'm only aware of one homeowner that sent the video.
And this could be something that the HOA will have to address versus the responsibility of the city. But
Well, in regards to the video that was sent, and I reviewed that video with the appropriate individuals, and as I'm sure as disconcerting as it is to see that volume of water come through your development, the retention ponds worked as planned. The water stayed sufficiently far from the houses. And, I wish that all of the old development in the city was laid out as well as this new development is, because it seemed to work exactly as intended. Water moved through. The retention ponds were large enough to hold back a lot of water and then not create too much of a issue, except that it is very disconcerting to look out your window and see that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Understand.
And I thought we owed the residents at least a conversation and discussion on it. But Mr. Diorio, appreciate the fact that you reached out to the city engineer. Builds my confidence back up. Appreciate that. Any other questions, concerns? Does Ms. Vice President want to call for the vote?
Sure. Do we have a motion to adopt ordinance, can't see, 41-2022?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 43-2022.
So moved. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance establishing Chapter 703, registration of rental units of the codified ordinances of the City of North Canton, and thereby requiring the registration and inspection of residential rental units located within the City of North Canton.
Daryl?
Am I audible?
Yes.
You are.
Thank you. Let me begin to my left. John, do you have any questions or comments at this point?
Well, I addressed most of my feelings last week. Why haven't we been following up over the last 34 years?
Well, John, I think that's a fair question. And I think it rests with the changing nature of the community. 40 years ago, rental units were principally confined, but not exclusively, to apartment buildings. And in those intervening 40 years, we have seen the expansion of rental units to single-family homes. And that is the reason why we are looking at this today. And the sheer number of single-family homes that are now rentals within the community.
Thank you.
John, I can't see your face, so I'm going to assume that there's no follow-up.
No, I said thank you.
Okay, very good.
My thoughts are still the same. I think it should be all, but, until that's changed, I will continue to vote no on this.
Very good. Mr. Mazzini?
Thank you. So the purpose of this, and I'll read it, it says the purpose of this chapter is to hold all property owners and agents to the same property maintenance standards as set forth in Part 17 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton, and to provide a safe and sanitary environment for the residents and their guests of all rental dwelling units. This is asking for all, but the registration is for only those of 8 units or less. And I think in this, we should incorporate some way of making sure that all rental units are registered, that the inspections follow based on cause. And there are several items there that could generate cause, those being those items in Chapter 17 that can even be visible from outside, or change of ownership, change of tenant, anything like that that would draw attention to that rental unit. So I stand with the fact that this could be better legislation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Square?
I have the same opinion. I support it as it's written. I have nothing new to add from last week.
Christine?
You skipping Stephanie?
Yeah, I'll come back to it.
Okay. I don't have anything further to add. I've not been contacted by anyone still.
Stephanie?
No further recommendations. I think we will get to all. I'm going to adhere to the direction of administration and what they think they can do first, and then we'll move accordingly.
Mr. McLeaster?
I think I'm going to take the same direction that Member Warren has, that we pass what we have now and follow the direction of the administration. We'll get to all eventually. And yeah, I have nothing new to add from what we talked about already. Thank you.
Mayor, I suspect you're down there on the end. You have anything to add at this time?
I think the legislation written is sufficient to go forward with the rental registration. There's a number of things that the city will be working on in the future to try to address many of the issues that was presented today, this evening. And it all takes time, process, and people and money to get this through. But I think this is a good starting point for us. And as we go forward, any amendments that that our legislative body needs to make, we can address those as we go forward. But I believe this is a long time issue that's been coming, so that we avoid the blight that you see in other communities, and to keep our neighborhoods in a quality living nature. And we have to start somewhere, and I think this is a good starting point for us. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Duro, do you have anything to add?
No?
Square?
Okay. Can I have a motion to move forward?
Second. Oh, motion to adopt?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Motion carries 5-2. Any other words from council or administration tonight?
For a special report, I don't think we do.
And just is opening the opportunity for
I like
special
conditions.
circumstances.
I like things that I can plan on.
Gotcha. All right.
The only thing I'll say is, and I said it to Jamie, I wonder if some of the yards aren't being kept because it's no-mow May. And in an effort to protect the environment and help the bees and all the things, dandelions and everything, I have noticed a lot. And I guess it's like a thing in Canton and they're noticing it. And so I just wonder if that is why some of the yards are unkept.
Not so much.
Maybe,
I've
you don't
never heard
know.
of, no, I've never heard
It's
that
a thing.
before. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
My buddy told me about it this weekend. I thought he was crazy. So
It's a thing.
Not a
I'm sending it to you. It's a thing.
part of some sort of dystopia.
All right. Anything else? All right. I motion to adjourn.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.
Guess how many emails I'm going to send you about no